So the Lumix S9 got a massive update with unlimited recording and multiple frame markers, but I didn't want to forget that the Lumix S5 II, the S5 iiX, and the G9 Mark II also got some pretty big firmware updates, but it didn't get all the bells and whistles that the S9 got. So the big updates for the S5 II, the G9 Mark II, and the S5 iiX is going to be mostly in the Lumix Lab app functionality. With all three of these cameras and the firmware update, you can now have 39 LUTs being loaded onto all of these cameras. On top of that, you can now finally connect to the Lumix Lab app. So you can officially go and mess around, play around, transfer LUTs from your device to your camera directly. You could also check out my LUTs that are on the Lumix Lab app if you want to check out what I use for vlog or what I use for my natural color profile for photos. On top of that, you can also instantly transfer your JPEG photos from your cameras to your iPhone. So once you take a photo, it will automatically be transferred. Basically, all of the Lumix Lab app functionality is now finally put into the S5 II, iiX, and the G9 Mark II. But it doesn't stop there for firmware updates with these cameras, which is so crazy that Lumix keeps adding these firmware updates to these older cameras. And I say older because they're only about 2 years old at this point. But now you have the Lecia Monochrome color profile, which is a Leica made monochrome color profile for Lumix cameras that is now put into all three of these cameras. And on top of that, this is the really cool one, which you're actually listening to right now, is the S5 II, the iiX, and G9 Mark II finally supports the brand new XLR2 unit. Granted though, this doesn't give you 32-bit flow audio on the S5 II, iiX, or G9 Mark II. It only is 24-bit, but it is now compatible with all three of these cameras, which is, again, what you've been listening to this entire video is using the XLR2 on the S5 iiX, which is so nice. For people who want just a YouTube setup or a podcast setup, this is really nice being able to plug and play. Hello, quick little interruption from editing Matt here. Don't mind my Snuggie, I'm comfy, thank you. But there's two things I forgot to mention when I was actually filming the entire video. The first is that you are able to add 2 LUTs and change each of those LUTs by 10% opacity, which is really nice for photography or for video needs. And now that second feature that I forgot to mention as well, the Lumix Lab app, you are able to transfer any MP4 videos from the S5 II, iiX, and G9 Mark II to your phone as well. But I wish that they added that you are able to transfer proxy videos to your phone, because then I think that could be a nice workflow that's non-destructive. And what I mean by non-destructive is you are able to shoot in vlog, have everything be completely no color baked in, but if you need quick social media cuts, you are able to have your proxy videos from the S5 iiX, for example, those proxy videos with baked in color getting sent over to your phone. So you have quick social posts with color grades already on it, but then later on your other SD card, it's super non-destructive. You can have full flexibility. It's in vlog. So I think proxies being able to be sent over to your phone using the Lumix Lab app would be huge. Anyways, editing Matt will go away. Now, a couple cons though with this firmware update that I've personally noticed so far. I feel like it takes just a little bit longer to transfer photos and connect, even though it's still using the 5 gigahertz of speed through the camera and the phone. I just feel like transferring the photos takes just a little bit longer in comparison to the Lumix S9 and the GH7, which was built with that app in mind. The next con that I have is the remote shooting. The shutter control is currently only available on the Lumix S9 as well, which is also a bit of a bummer because you can use the old Lumix app, but it would be nice if this was all in one fresh updated app for the Lumix Lab app, that you could do the remote shutter, the remote shooting on the Lumix S5 II, iiX, and G9 Mark II in the Lumix Lab app, just like you could do it with the S9. I think that will just come with time, but yeah. Now, a couple of things that I wish they added, like they added to the Lumix S9, and they just didn't put it in this firmware update. The multiple frame markers that the S9 just got. This is so nice for people who shoot in open gate 6K 24 or 30 frames a second. The second thing that I wish that they added to these cameras was the hybrid zoom. I absolutely love, that's one of my favorite features on the Lumix S9, is that hybrid zoom functionality that this camera has. I get with the Micro Four third cameras, the G9 Mark II, it might have been a little bit harder because it's completely different mount systems entirely. Like the GH7, I believe, doesn't even have hybrid zoom, but the S9 does, and you know, the S9 got released before that, so you would assume the GH7 has it. Anyways, those are the quick updates on the S5 II, the 2X, and G9 Mark II. I would love to hear what your guys' thoughts are in the comments below about this firmware update. What do you wish that they added to these cameras on top of what they gave us already? I already made my 2 cents, so I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. But if you're interested in seeing a deeper dive on all the new features they added to the Lumix S9, you can check out that video right there. And then YouTube recommends you might like this video right here. Till next one, guys, peace.